You're all send your number to myself. I tried all, I run out of things going. I run them out of every damn day. So that's hardly surprising. So I get it, this is the final draw of the pool project. If I read it, that's what he's written.
Oh, no, it's not so. No. Still being worked on. It's been a long
But he
time.
says it's been developed. But
Nice to see you again.
that's wrong. That's the grain, that's the color. No, it's the grain.
But if it was for the water, why isn't it coming out in June?
They have to be. I don't think they have much to do.
So, do you think it'd be a detriment? Well, when you look at his schedule, he shows that he shows
You're
his
getting the
final.
eyeball, right?
Because he shows he has a list of prior draws.
Very excited.
Yeah, and it shows that one. He has a schedule coming down prior.
Reappointing him as a consultant.
Get double pay.
Zero, yeah. And so I gather that that's what he's saying, that, okay, we got to here and I've gotten everything that I have coming.
Yes.
A deal.
Well, you see the days of school.
Oh, yes, I didn't pay attention.
Alice not on board with some of the
Well, that makes three of us.
lady to make sure.
There's what I was looking at on proceed. There it is. So I don't think there's any question.
As far as I know,
But, yeah. Well, I'm like, if it's rated, what he has, he's right here.
we definitely said they hired me. And it's all these.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well, and everything else, it's a
I knew.
Very effective.
I knew that talk today. I said,
Yeah, there
as
was
soon as we get the pay, I went
possible.
I didn't see what it was.
Oh, yes,
Went for it.
yes, we all have that. But that's what he's, he was. I think there is some, this is always it's nuts. I mean, yes. Could I see $1,000?
I got all sorts of stuff. But I can't really do anything on that until it's, okay, never gonna show it.
Yes.
Oh, you're not gonna give me
I know. I'm sure that was Hector dead.
His wife, he had some.
We've all been there. I did work on that. And I read this every day.
And I thought that was supposed to work.
I'm aware, I drafted the agreement.
Right.
Worst thing that's happened in
Or I did
second
draft
half
it,
of
I
my
wanted
life.
to change it.
This
On
thing.
the hardware
Yeah,
myself.
Christ, because that's a
So I
huge.
reviewed that completely.
Oh,
So,
which is just a concept. It's just annoying.
I'll cover for you. And Guy and I always have been a team now for a hell of a long time.
Thanks for understanding. Okay, you ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm calling Tim Roby right now. I haven't heard from him yet.
Hey, this is Tim. Just leave me a message. I'll get back.
Yeah, because you can't accept it with me before.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got 5:34, so I will call into session the June 17th meeting of the Elwood Redevelopment Commission. We'll start off with a roll call.
Bob Savage here.
Greg Casada.
Amy on in.
Steve Abernathy.
Tom Austin. Tim Roby is absent, but he is supposed to be calling me so he can participate by phone from the state of Missouri, I believe. So even without Tim here, we do have a quorum. We will go first to the approval of the May 20th minutes. I hope you all had a chance to review those minutes. If you have any questions, please identify them at this time. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the May 20th meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Abernathy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Danielle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're going to pay the bills now. Bill, I'll follow your lead.
Thank you. Start off, there was an error in transferring the information from the invoice information that I emailed everybody. The mowing on the agenda sheet, the mowing is listed as $1,200 and actually is $1,120 as I presented. Thank you, Dave, for pointing that out. But the grand total was correct, so the only thing that needs to be corrected is that mowing cost of $1,120 and eliminate $1,200.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
We had I don't have any questions. There's a lot going on with the pool. Is it any issues with it?
This pool, okay, the pool, the Heartland, the pool, that's the final invoice. GM Development Company's been monitored religiously by with Miss Atwood, I can't think of her name.
That's right.
Allison.
Allison, yes, Allison. So, Roby, yes. So anyway, we waited. The invoice was received in February, but there were some things that had to be taken care of, so she's, give her blessing on it, and it's good to be paid.
So everybody's agreed that all the punch lists, everything's done?
Yes, cool, that's what
And we
she,
had, funds came out okay.
yeah.
She worked with Tim and with Sheila on making sure the punch list was completed before she paid the necessary invoices, and all
Yeah.
those have been completed, so it is for a final check.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep,
So Bill,
Thank you, Todd.
you're welcome.
Bill, before we approve the claims, should we add the other two that relate to the shelter house here?
No.
Or you wanna wait till later on the
I'd
agenda?
like to put them, there's two, just specifically for the shelter house, that add them on where, under Callaway Shelter House in the new business.
Okay.
We'll just, because they're not on the list, I want to keep them separate.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
We have a motion by Dave. Is there a second?
Hang on, he's adding.
So I've got,
I can hear him punching.
yeah, I was just going through and adding this. The total I've got before the mowing was $95,078.67, not $95,068. So I was just going through adding it again. I added it twice to verify my math was correct. But I just want to let you know that that's not matching what's on there.
What total did you come up with, Greg?
For the first approval of claims, the total I have was $95,078.67. And you add the 1120, it was up to 96.
So to that number, you're adding 1,100.
Yeah,
He's adding the whole list, coming up $10 difference.
$98,749.38, yeah. So, I mean, it's, I'm just saying it for the,
No, that's good, you've done it, you've run it through twice.
Well,
So-
and he's saying he did it and he was right earlier, so.
Well, I was out $10, but it was my mistake.
So Greg, your grand total,
I have the grand total at $98,749.38.
okay?
And that's because the other total from TIF funds is 95,000.
It's 68, yeah.
That's what I got.
The 98,
I got yours.
70, yeah.
There's your $10.50.
58, that part was 58 instead of 68, right?
Yeah, that part is 68, it's supposed to be $95,078 and
78.
Oh, 70.
67 cents, so.
So we all agree,
$749.38.
Do all the individual amounts match up with the invoice amounts?
Yes.
so we all agree the grand total is $98,749.38, is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve that amount?
Motion.
Second.
Motion, we have a second, all in favor say aye. Thank you. Old business, the Valentine Building, discussion regarding estimates for asbestos remediation. Earlier this week, hold on for a second. No shortage of paper if you serve on this commission. Bill sent out an email, I think it was yesterday. In the email, he quoted Bill Fredericks or someone from Fredericks Contractors that they believe it's better to retain the building, remove the asbestos versus demolition. We've all been through the building. Any thoughts on those two choices? We're at a T in the road. We don't necessarily have to make a decision tonight, but
It's all, we've been focused on all the junk that's in there, and so they are clearing it completely out. That's the estimate of what they would do for $50,000.
That's a ballpark estimate. He wanted to come back and look at it again and bring one of his coworkers with him.
Did that figure include removing the construction that had been done inside? Where he
Yeah,
created
all
those
the
different
walls.
buildings?
Basically wants to gut the whole building, all inside walls,
Okay.
right,
And he's gonna do that for $50
So
grand.
you end up with a shell of a building.
shell building. And then he mentioned the layout, like, there's a picture on the back side, the second page, page 2. It's just, Bill Fredericks is one of the most prominent construction contractors in Madison County, headquartered out of Pendleton, so we just brought him in and take a look at it.
I guess I would like to ask Christie, since you showed it, could you tell us whether the impression you got from the people that they would have liked to have it an empty building, or they wanted to keep all that stuff that's been built on the inside?
I think almost every single person that I took through there, which I believe now is maybe 12 different people, and some of those I took through multiple times, they all had that. They don't want to mess with that initial, having to tear all that stuff out, remove all that stuff, pay the price, and do the work. I think there was one that said they would be willing to do that, but wasn't going to pay anywhere near what the ERC was asking for. But yeah, that is something.
But when it was all done, they wanted all that construction on the inside, or they were going to rip it all out?
They don't want any of that stuff on here. They don't want to have to, they want to be able to come in to a shell of a building and then build out what they need in there to suit themselves. They don't want that upfront stuff. Most of them they want to come here soon, was, part of it. They would like to relocate soon or start soon, and they look at that and that's just a huge undertaking that they weren't willing to do.
so So the people who walk through the building with you, when they recognize the presence of asbestos, kind of comments that you hear? Any negative?
Not anymore, but, I mean, not really.
You didn't have anybody recognize the presence.
No, they talked, they would say things like, I'm sure there's asbestos in here, I mean, things like that, but it wasn't.
They weren't scared of it.
No, and it wasn't any kind of in-depth conversation, it was just a few of them. But truly, that was one of the first things that everyone I took through had an issue with, was just like what a huge undertaking it would be for them. You know, some of them are smaller business, fewer amounts of employees, and who are they gonna have to do this, and they got hired this done, they did all this stuff out before they could even start doing what they need to do with the building in order to put their business in there.
So the last paragraph, Bill, in your email says, moving forward, we intend to communicate with qualified developers and interested parties to gauge market interest and evaluate potential redevelopment options. How soon would you anticipate doing that if tonight we vote to spend $50,000 to get the building?
Well, I think he wants to come, he doesn't wanna go on 50,000. He wants to look at it again. Pretty sure he said that somewhere. Or maybe he just told us, he'd like to come bring it back. He did text messages. He texted back and said he wanted to come back, go through it again.
Okay, so the 50,000 wasn't an in writing quote, it was just a verbal.
It was a
That's all.
ballpark estimate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So he wants to come back and look at it, and then
Yes.
obviously if it's over 50 grand, right, Mr. Farr, then we'll have to open it up to bid out other people, okay.
Correct.
Anything over 50.
Now with that, since he's gonna look at, if we're gonna see if there's any qualified developers are interested with that, I mean, granted, he's saying it would exceed 150 to demolish and get rid of it. However, you guys have a map of what looks like potential, development of the entire area after, so if it comes back that they're interested in developing, gas station, different things like that, we may spend the money to do that then. Is that what I'm hearing? It's just, and see which way we, kinda.
Yeah, I think that's right, Greg.
And when I talked to Alan Moore, like looking at this drawing, he said too, because I think originally the thought was to control what was going in out here, right? So we could develop, what was the word I'm looking for? Conditions of what they could put in the front, correct? When it comes to that point.
Yeah. Or whoever purchased the property and developed the way they wanted. This is just an idea that popped up with Bill Fredericks, who's got a lot of experience in this type of situation.
How long, did you have any indication how long it would take Fredericks to gut the building, if that's what we end up doing?
No, he didn't say how long it would take.
So we need to get Mr. Frederick back out here to do another,
Yeah, I think that was
a
the
good
next step.
estimate
Alan and I were gonna get a hold of him and get him back out there.
and a timeline of what he thinks.
Yeah.
So if he guts the inside, does that start the process of remediation on the asbestos?
No,
Or isn't the asbestos in some of those constructions that was done on the inside?
we don't know. I've got another, if you wanted, the next step on the remediation of asbestos is that we've got another supplemental building asbestos report. Corey Smith, we've used him several times. He did all the asbestos reports on the white elimination program homes, and he's, we had him go through the building and everything. And I think I put a copy in your information there in front of you from especially Earth Sciences Inc., where he's stated that he would do a asbestos analysis, pre-demolition, renovation, asbestos sampling and analysis. What was the amount there?
2,600?
Yeah, so he'll bring us back say
Yes,
what's
he'll have-
there and how we handle it. right?
Yeah, he'll do a full report. He's been doing this for years for.
Whether it needs to be removed or if it stays in place, remains in place, that sort of thing.
Yes.
For the environment, did the environmental number, phase one, lay out where the asbestos was?
Not very well.
Okay.
So, that report that you have is the second one from what we already paid, or what you guys?
Yeah, the first one was reviewed by Corey, and they didn't cover everything, they didn't catch things. So we've used Corey before, and he's done a very good job. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Will you send me a copy of that so I can see it too?
I thought I did.
You may have, I missed it maybe, but I didn't think so.
I will, yeah,
Thank
I
you.
will, no doubt about it.
So am I correct? Are we saying we want Bill Fredericks to come back? I think it'd be wise if he or someone who represents his company could come to our June or July meeting so we can ask him questions. That's what I think I'm hearing. That will be our next step in this process.
And then, Bill, does, what he's got in here, does it cover what was on the environmental study?
He has a copy of that one to incorporate in what he's planning to do to catch up and make it right.
So he's gonna make sure all those points are covered.
Yes,
So do we feel like the original
he
phase
did.
one was
He
not?
did, he said that.
That said what?
He didn't think it was up to speed and it didn't cover everything. And we've used him before several times, so we trust
Have
Corey
we-
Smith.
Have we used the environmental people before?
No, never before. Never heard of him before.
Well, there's not a lot of people that do that, so.
So, yeah, we've used Corey a lot of times.
So am I hearing correctly, on top of what Mr. Austin said about bringing Bill Frederick back to gauge an approximate estimate and a timeline, we also want him to come to the next meeting, but then we also are looking at potentially having this guy come and do another.
Yes, yes,
And we can ask Corey to have his done in time so that they all come together.
yeah, yes, there's no problem with that.
Who's Corey? I don't know.
Corey Smith,
This guy?
It's this guy.
Oh, this guy? Okay.
yeah, especially earth sciences, yes. I think he signed off on it right there, Corey Smith.
Well, Daniel, since you made sense of my comments, would you want to make a motion to keep this initiative going?
Yeah, I will make a motion to keep this going and get, Bill Frederick back and his partners back to give us a more approximate estimate and timeline they think for completion, and have Bill come to our July meeting.
Bill or
Bill,
someone
or
representing?
someone from Frederick's.
Before there's a second, Commissioners, is it okay that Cody comes out and gets those metal racks that are in there to, put his snowplows on so he can keep them indoors? I just wanna make sure that previously there was permission that was granted, but he hasn't been in there yet to get those out, to put the snowplow, so he can store his snowplows in the, summer and spring, indoors, because currently they sit outside 24,
As long as that doesn't run snow.
Right, so I'll make sure he gets in there before Bill gets in there and gives a price, because that would obviously affect what he's trying to do with removal of shelving. I just wanna make sure you guys are comfortable with it, us still doing that.
Is there anything else you can remove?
I'll have Cody look.
Yeah.
Those metal racks and the shelving were important to him, but I just sent him a message to see if he'd gotten them yet, he said he hadn't.
I think I remember him
So,
wanting.
so yeah, that was, as long as you guys are okay with that.
Yep.
Okay, thank
We
you.
need a motion for that,
Well-
and then it's,
We also need a motion to approve this cost proposal, is that right, Bill?
Yes. Who seconded it?
nobody did,
Nobody.
On the first one. So you're doing two separate motions?
yeah.
Okay,
Three
you
separate
made,
motions.
you made the motion.
I made the
second
motion.
it, I'll second it. Now,
All in favor, say aye.
Alright. Okay.
Opposed, same sign.
And then for the record, I'll make a motion that we allow the street department to come get the metal racks for storage out of the street department.
second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then we need a motion to approve this change order 002 from Specialty Earth Science.
I have a question for you. Should we not have him come that same night so we could discuss that with him?
If you
I'd like to know what he says is different from what the environmental says. Because the environmentals are usually pretty good, so I would like to know what he found that he needed to change on what they're recommending.
Him to come to the July meeting too.
See if he could come to the July meeting also.
I don't think I got that correspondence either, Bill, or did Christie. If you could send that to us, please, so we can compare it as well.
And that's a motion, Dave, on
Yes.
your behalf. Is there a second to Dave's motion?
Second.
We have a second from Danielle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. So I'm gonna lay this up here, Bill, so I can sign it when we get done.
And Bill, you'll ask him that Corey to have that done and come to the next meeting?
So you did want Corey to go ahead and
Yes,
get started on that and come to the meeting when he brings
in
it.
July, because that's when Mr. Frederick.
Yeah, get everybody here at the same time.
Yeah, if they can make it. I don't know, everybody's got their own little schedules, though.
I think it would be
We'll try.
my benefit if he would put it in writing so we could study it ahead of time, what is the differences in that he sees in the environment.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the most important part.
Well, I do. For me, it is. I mean, you pay good money to have an environmental impact study of a guy that does this for a living. And this guy is coming in and saying he doesn't agree with it. I'd like to know what the differences
He's
are.
saying that he cannot give an estimate for cost for remediation on what they provided.
He states right there in there, Dave. Right on the
Well, I don't have it with me, though.
right on the front page.
I don't.
He may have reservations putting it in writing. If he comes here and explains it, it'll be adequate.
Well, that would be adequate if you come and explain it to me.
I'll tell him, we'll talk to him. He may just say, forget it, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Okay, the next item is letter B, various paving projects. And looking at the minutes from our last month's meeting, there was a suggestion made to form a subcommittee to
We
sit
didn't do
down.
any committees, remember, because then we get in trouble.
I have no idea what you just said.
I said, we didn't do any committees, because then we get in trouble.
Yeah, it's a flash mob thing.
Yeah,
I'm just reading the
I know,
minutes.
I know.
Let me say, this is what I read now. Somebody suggested a flash mob would be formed to sit down with Matt Rudy to go over the whole scope of the paving projects. And the flash mob included Mr. Roby, Mrs. Noon, and Mr. Quesada. Now, all I have to show for this since we met last month is, Dave, I'm gonna is this something, you copied this, didn't you, Bill, for me? When I was up here this afternoon? All right, why don't you,
You got the whole thing,
yeah, do they have the whole thing?
yeah.
Okay, so the first page I want you to look at, guys, is the one that Mr. Roby prepared. It looks like this. It's titled Elwood Redevelopment Commission Paving Improvement Plan. And then you should have attached to that schematics, drawings, proposals from Rudy Paving Maintenance. Now, Mike, this is where I'm gonna need your help to make sure what I say is correct. So, at the last month's meeting, we did not have certain numbers for certain aspects of the paving. However, in Rudy Paving Maintenance, one proposal is to pave the Birch By Center, and that number is $57,500. And then there's a proposal to pave the area, pool parking lot, and that number is $120,400. And you have all this information in your packet. Then the next quote or proposal is to pave Callaway Park Drive at a cost of $183,700. I asked Tim and Matt Rudy to have lunch with me one day about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half. And that's when I got this information from Tim. What we don't have, and what we talked about at that lunch work session, Mike, was do each of these proposals stand as a separate quote or separate bid, or do we need to get competitive bids for each one of them? With two companies mentioned, Ferris Paving and, who was the other? E&B Paving.
There's notes on it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do them all at once, but there are only three here. The fourth one, as I read it, as a street improvement, may not be included, but they are all separate if you treat them as separate projects, you're gonna wind up with separate bids. Well, treat them as one project, you're gonna have separate bids.
We tried to treat them as separate projects, hoping they'd be under $50,000.
Yeah, but the lowest one is $57,000.
Defeated on purpose.
So your
The
recommendation,
very first one's $120,000.
yeah. So if we treat these paving projects as separate projects, are we required to get on one, like the pool parking lot, we need to get 3 quotes.
Yeah.
On the Birch Pie Center, we can go with the 57.5, or we need to get 3 quotes.
Yes.
And therefore, the same applies to the.
62,000 on the
Yeah,
next.
so another 3 quotes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I don't,
If you're gonna treat them as 3 projects,
Yeah.
that way, one individual could have, you could have 3 individuals, each doing the other. Now, if they know they're bidding on all, somebody may bid less to take all 3 projects, but they're bidding on 3 projects.
okay.
Unless you decide it's one project, but that amount of money, you can't break it up to avoid the competitive bid, if that's what you're asking.
So it seems to me that these should be wrapped into one project
If you're gonna do them all,
and 3
you might as
bids,
well.
with 3 bids.
Then the question is about the street improvement, you can do that separately,
That's what, well, I was
or
gonna say,
throw
on
that in.
the very back one, it's not listed on the main page.
That was my point on
It's-
that. There's
yeah,
one that
there's-
is not included.
There's 2 that
And
are,
it's something about Olympian Way.
Because
the 183.7's not included on the front either.
I
And
don't
then
know
there's
where Olympian Way is.
45.5 of Olympian Way, which, Bill, can Olympian Way just be roped into CCMG? Not this year, but next year or something?
It's not a street,
It's not a dedicated road.
it's not part of the NDOT inventory.
Oh, I see.
But it's under 45, so we could
It wasn't
do that,
out.
we
It
could
was
technically do
out.
that.
Oh, I see. Well, then, yeah, as she pointed out, you also have $180,000 prospective appraisal, I guess is what these are, for purpose of establishing a bid. If I read your notes, that you were, somebody hired or at least asked a favor of Matt Rudy to tell us what this would cost.
Give us
So
an
you-
approximate.
Yeah, and so, not included also is $180,000, $183 for, Park Lane, which I presume is the driveway through the park.
Yeah.
So, you can have it, you have 1 bid or 3 bids. The first one is probably 1 bid and then treat the other separate or ignore them.
So Greg, have you talked to Tim about any of this?
Yes, I kind of talked with him on it. Actually, I got the number for Cam at E&B. Reached out to him earlier this afternoon, sent him my contact information so he could get me in touch with their estimator that they're gonna send over to schedule something to review the projects to give us another pricing on it as well.
Okay.
So,
Cam Pat out.
Danielle, have you talked to Tim?
Talk to Cam Pat out.
I've not talked to Tim, I've talked to Matt.
Okay.
So we can have individual bids and then a combined bid, because sometimes combining will reduce all the.
That was what I was saying. And you may have somebody, I mean, if you wanna give them the option, somebody may only wanna bid on 1 of them or 2 of them, And but if they have the right to bid on all three, I might make you a better deal if I get all three, but maybe I only want one of them. So you can put the bid either way, because they're all required,
And we can,
they're over 50,000, so you have nothing under 50.
yeah, we can mix and match them as we choose.
Sure.
And go back to them and
Somebody
say,
may want two, somebody may want one, I'll make a real good deal for you if I get all three.
And so all the money is gonna come out of TIF money? Bill?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's fine, for all of it to come out there?
there could be a review. Do we need to do it all in 1 year? Is it, which one is in most in need, you know? Can one or more wait until next year?
Yeah,
You know,
I can do
kind of-
that.
So how many different paving options are we looking at on letter B?
Looks like there's
7,
five.
5?
Yeah, I think it's 5. Well, the
So-
17 manholes is not a paving project, I don't think.
Yeah, that's separate.
So we formed this Ragabond group of you and
Yep.
Greg and Tim. Does this vagabond group need to sort through these various paving projects and identify them in order of what's
Why,
missing?
and I think that's why there was a few of them listed, because from what I was told, when I talked with Tim, and he had discussed it with Matt had gone through and identified which ones he thought were top priority, or should take priority over others.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, you know, we were looking at everything, but again, that's something we needed to discuss, get pricing on it all, and then debate on what we thought we should focus on first.
So can I assume, Greg, that the separate handout you have says park department areas 1, 2, 3? Are those the 3 that Tim, based upon his conversations
I think those were the ones that,
at Rudy,
with
are
him and Matt,
the most important right
Correct.
now
yes.
in 2026?
Mhm. And then there was the street improvement ones, which were obviously the manholes that needed redone as well.
Yeah.
Now, talking with them on that, I was told that there is only one company regionally that will handle that. So how do we go about getting other estimates, because that is $140,000 in itself. If there's no one, if there's not another,
There's only one person in the world who would do
well,
it.
not in the world,
No,
but
that
in the
is
area that
area.
handles it that's what we were told on that, is what I was told.
On the street improvements.
For those
For the
manholes,
Yeah,
manholes.
the reconstruction of them.
Where are those at? On 29th Street?
They were, I think there's
I
several.
mean, obviously.
Sorry, I was doing something else on 29th Street that we're actually getting ready to pave. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm talking, the 17 manholes that needed
Yeah,
reconstruction.
disregard that right now.
Okay.
Okay, don't look at that number.
Yeah, we're not gonna-
I met with, Scott Kramer today from HWC, and there's money that is already in the, CCMG grant funding to fix manholes, and the boxes. So we've got a plan on that. Now, on 29th Street, when they were looking at wanting to add additional manholes, that's a violation of our ordinance, and we cannot add any new wastewater into our system. We can only discharge it to the creek. So when we met with Scott Krieger today from HWC, they are going to mill the road and wedge 29th Street, which is Sawmill, to North Beach Street to direct the water into the 3 current inlets they have. And those boxes will be rebuilt with CCMG money. So you guys don't have to worry about any of that right now. I'm sorry, I was in another conversation and I just heard drainage and I was like, wait a minute, let me come up here.
So there,
I should have not even been on there, I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
disregard it.
so therefore, Mayor, what I hear you saying is we need somebody representing the ERC needs to contact Ferris and E&B and get a quote on those 3 projects at the top of the page.
That is correct, the paving around the aquatic center, the park, and whatever else is on.
Yeah, and then hopefully we can make a decision on which contractor gets that job by our July meeting, so they can factor in the fact summer goes by fast.
And it would really be nice to do all three of those projects at one time, so it would make a huge impact. We are seeing record numbers at the pool right now.
Yeah.
And you can't park on half of the parking lot. And the way the water runs, it floods out the basketball court when it rains. So if we could get the paving right, the water runoffs right, then that'll eliminate a lot of our problems. The Birch Bay Center, the parking lot there is just crumbling from when they used the heavy equipment for the pool. So there's craters and it's not ADA compliant, it's not safe, it's hard to navigate and walk through. So if we could do all of those at the same time, I know it's expensive, I know it's a hard spend, but it's a good spend. In addition to the lane that goes around the backside of the park, the residents of Essential Healthy Living ride their motor scooters down that lane to get where they're going. And then it would just look a lot better before the Glass Festival. So just some thoughts, but
Do we need to put speed bumps in back there?
I'm worried what would happen.
So, I think,
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. I guess I'm trying to understand how this would happen and what Matt Rudig's position was in it. But when you just asked for bids for two people, are you assuming that these notes are a bid by Matt Rudig?
No.
If no, then you probably need three bids, including him, and I
Including
think
him.
you only mentioned two.
Yeah, no, this is not from Matt Rudig, this is from Tim Roby.
Oh, no, but it's an analysis.
The
of
supporting
what's happening.
documentation.
I got you, that's, yeah,
That was what I'm saying, if they
I
are
got
not bids, or I don't read
Yeah,
them as
they are,
bids.
they are.
Oh, okay, well, if he buy, then you have.
okay, so Mayor, I need to ask you a question. I need to ask the commissioners the same question. So we have 3 areas listed on this separate sheet of paper. But the Callaway Park lane, where those nursing home residents race their things, is not on this.
That's correct.
it's, the bid is on here, but it's not listed as like the top 3 priorities.
Okay.
That's that's the
It's
180. It's not.
182.7, it's the bigger, yeah.
You got it, Daniel.
Where do you see that?
It's in the packet.
Yeah, it's further back, there's Callaway's 183.7
Okay,
and
I got you.
Olympian Drive
That's the one that has the
45.5.
I think that he just listed the top 3 priorities.
That's Tim's list.
Yep.
And Greg worked with him, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll add Raceway Park as another option to look at.
Tom's cat, second.
Okay, won't be too long, I'll be there. Okay. So, we need, Bill, can you contact Ferris and E&B?
I think Tim Rubin was in on this.
Yeah, I already contacted E&B, I will get them basically this information where we
Okay.
need those. As soon as I get the contact information for the estimator. Paris, I've not reached out to yet.
Okay.
And
I've
just,
got Ferris's phone number, I can give you.
Okay.
just to be clear, we're doing 1, 2, and 3, and then number 4 would be the park,
Callaway.
Parkview, yeah,
And then
Raceway
5 on.
Raceway Park, okay.
I have a-
And then
Olympian.
5 is Olympian Way. Matt Rudig quoted Olympian Way on here too. Are we gonna hold on that one, or are we gonna get a quote on that one too?
I think we get a quote on all of them and decide
Okay,
what I would do.
alright.
Mike, I have a question.
Sure.
When we're talking about getting bids, there's not a process for us to advertise for bids so that other people, that we can get to pick the 3 that's going to bid?
Well, that's a problem, and that's why I keep asking, is this, has Matt submitted a bid, and would he change it if he was a competitive bid? You have to publish the bid, anybody has the right to bid.
That's what I thought.
And so, I'm not sure that he submitted a bid, I don't think you have any. If he wants this to be his bid, he could say that, but I think you have to say to, not just E&B and Ferris. I gather what the notes say is Tim was working on getting estimates and probably talked to the 3 who do the most work here. But,
Well, don't we have to advertise the specifics of what
yes,
we're
you have a
bidding on?
procedure for advertising for bids. And these are just standard projects.
And it
Bill,
would be sealed
who had-
bids
who-
turned into Bill's office,
Yeah.
and then you would open them all at once.
Yeah.
And just the projects you guys wanna do, if it's Olympian Way, if it's Raceway Park, if it's, the Birch Pie parking lot, the Mary Beth Dunn Aquatic Center, all of that, and then that's when people would submit the bids from, and it'd be a public bidding process, so you
Yeah.
just don't include three, it's, I mean,
They have to have bonds, there's a whole set of requirements.
So,
Yeah.
who takes care of preparing the bid documents for posting?
usually it's Mr. Graham's office on that, but we need to know what scope of work you guys would like to see. So
Yeah.
if you identify the areas that you want paved, we'll put it in an email and send it to Jeff's office, and then he can publish,
Yeah.
the bidding process.
For
So
example, you
generally-
can't just send out assume these are bids, you can't send them to two other people and say, well, you lower it. That's not bidding. And so, yeah, I mean, we can prepare the bids and just use the question is how many things you want bids on?
Okay.
And what are and I think he has given a discussion of what all he wants done
Yeah, like
on
on
each one.
Callaway,
And so you have the elements of
widening
when you
that
get a
road,
bid,
you know.
very
And there's
easy.
probably a template that we use for like CCMG, you just delete the roads and you just punch in the next one you want.
Yeah, exactly.
There is, if you have an engineer, that's right.
But we can take the template from the public advertisement
Sure,
and delete that.
yeah.
Is there a minimum time period to accept bids? Because we're gonna get in, this is their busy season already, and then they're gonna be laying this in behind current
Off the
jobs.
top of my head, I don't remember.
I think there's a
But you've got to
30-day
give
notice.
everybody, it's gonna be at least like 30 days, I mean, for anybody to get published and get time to put it together. I heard the other day, or a while ago, you were talking about Frederick's doing this. Well, I happen to know he's working on a huge construction project here in town at the time to build a factory. Getting him there may not be, what are you doing tomorrow at 10 o'clock? And I'm saying, you gotta give people, these are business people, time to put together a bid. It's a compromise, they gotta get bonds, there are several elements of the bid.
And all these paving contractors are busy right
And they're busy now, that's what I was saying, yeah, as you point out. Most of the bids are out and they've already done it. It may be difficult to get this done, but it's probably gonna be fall before you get it done.
So, are we saying the bids would be due and action taken on the bids no later than the Wednesday before Glass Festival?
That work?
I think,
Yeah, I guess that's an example, could you?
yeah, I'm just looking at the calendar,
No.
and our next meeting is on the 15th of July, and then you go right to August 19th. 15th of July may not give prospective bidders enough time
Yeah.
to prepare their bid documents.
I don't think it does, because till time you get it out, it's less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Let's have a special meeting.
So make it August 1 or something,
Good.
yeah.
Could have a special meeting, open the bids.
August 9th, so August 19th, can we agree, guys, that would be the drop dead date for us to make a decision on what bids we accept? If we need to have a special meeting prior to that, we can do that too.
now. Is this the date for them to submit the legal notice for the bids?
No,
No.
he's
Guys,
saying
to tell us what you want to bid on.
August 19th to make a decision on what bids we want to accept.
well,
You're thinking he
so
can have
you
all that
30
done by
days
then?
More than
to
30
open bids.
August
The
19th.
bids have to be out prior to that then, so you gotta tell us
So we gotta
right
make a
now
motion,
what
we
you
gotta
want
make a
done.
motion to.
Why don't we make the bids due back the minimum that the law requires?
Do what, I'm
Why
sorry?
don't we make the date for the bids to be whatever the minimum is for us to have to do it by law?
In the bid, does set deadlines for the.
It sets deadlines to get it in, yes.
And whatever it is, just follow that guideline.
Okay.
I mean, that to me makes no
So
sense.
back it up to the time so you can read it you wanna open bids on the 19th,
No later.
If
No later
possible,
than.
if possible.
huh?
Yeah.
No later than August 19th.
10
Yeah.
10 a.m.? Is that what you want?
Works for me.
Well, wait a minute, are you gonna pin us to that date then? Cause we don't wanna be pinned to that date.
Well, what's our next meeting?
Well, you want them the day before, that's fine.
Well, I guess I would like to know what the law requires, so.
Well,
So we would know.
no, but they're gonna be sealed bids, you can't look at them in
I know
advance.
that.
Oh,
I know
okay.
that.
So could we open bids on August 19th at 5 PM? And then make a decision at 5:30?
So have an executive meeting at 5, look at them, and then
Have a public meeting.
It has to open, doesn't have to be open in a public meeting.
not executive.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So, see if this fits, Mike. Set a bid opening for 5 o'clock on August 19th,
Okay.
followed by our regular meeting where we would take action on the successive bids.
Does that give you time to properly review them? They won't all be identical.
So schedule
You take
that
it
as a
every meeting.
special meeting to open the bids.
Yeah, that's what he was saying
At
at
the
5.
5 PM special
Correct.
meeting for purposes of opening the bids, and that way you're here anyway, and it makes
You
sense.
can just open the bids during the regular meeting.
You could. Well, then
You
he said
have
he
to
wants
have
to
a
study it for a while.
And
That
you're
way
not
you
gonna review it.
Yeah, that's gonna make it hard.
You know, they're not gonna review it that fast, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Well, I agree, I mean, it's a package, but
Does the city of Elwood have an engineer?
But they can be open without a special meeting, they can be open.
oh, they could be if you wanted them at 5 o'clock. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna do something at 5 o'clock, you have to do it as a special meeting, because otherwise, you can't get together and be opening and deciding without it being a meeting. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but
Other than you've just created a subcommittee for the purpose of studying this, that's what you can't do.
yeah, assuming there's time,
Huh?
you have to have a reasonable amount of time for them to prepare this, and then you have time
For
for
you to
process.
look at it, yeah.
So assuming there's time.
The only thing in opening, you have a checklist. Did they submit a bond? Did they do this? Okay, everything's here that you want. Now, you guys tell me which one is the lowest and the best. Remember, it's
Most
being cheapest
responsible.
is not the best.
Most responsible.
Most responsible, yeah.
but
You
we
get
can-
somebody who
We can
thinks he
open
might
the bids
be
on
in
Monday,
business.
Bill can open the bids on Monday, review them, and have Tim review them, and then consider them on the meeting on Wednesday.
You can do that.
That's all right.
Guys, I could have Cody help review the bill or the submission of the
that's what you
advertisements, because he would know if it needs to be a 4-inch
Good
mill,
idea.
or if it needs to be a 2-inch mill, or whatever it may be. He was very instrumental today in what we were trying to do on 29th Street, so Cody could help do that, and just reviewing, what the proposals have been.
Great, good idea.
Great idea.
And then I have one more comment, and it's unrelated to this, it's for the Valentine Building. If there is an interest or an appetite from the commissioners to have that building vacated and everything removed, the street department could look at helping do that. We would just have to have dumpster costs, and they could really separate the metals, and we could turn that into scrap so you could get some revenue. And then there would just be trash. Now, that's something that I've been talking to Cody on a sidebar, but he would be comfortable putting some people out there to demolish the building, or not demolish, excuse me, but clear it out, sorry, wrong topic. But he could clear it out if that number from Mr. Frederickson is 50,000, or if it's 75, and Cody thinks that he can do it with 10 dumpsters at 20 plus scrap, I don't know, but he said that he would be willing to offer the street department services to help save some
That's
money.
a ticket right there.
So just something to keep in your back pocket to think about. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay. Let's try to convene our thoughts to make sure we know where we are.
Okay.
So, we're going to identify the third Wednesday of August as the drop dead date to accept bids on various paving projects. We're going to contact Ferris and E&B, or whoever responds to our posting of the projects. We'll see what kind of numbers they come up with, and then Bill, you'll gather the Monday before the August regular meeting. Bids will be due that day, and you will open that day and record the results of the bid opening.
On the Monday before
Monday
the
before, whatever day that is, August 17th. And if you want me to sit in and I can take notes of the bid amounts, it's up to you.
I'm trying to I thought, you said at the beginning, the drop dead date to receive the bids would be the Wednesday, August 19th.
That's to approve the bid.
It's to approve the bids, not to receive, because
So you're setting up the money to receive.
when you mentioned Monday,
That'll
or
be
somebody
in-
mentioned Monday.
That'll be in the bid notice.
Okay.
Yeah, so Monday the 17th, bids will be open, the 19th, and I assume we, all of us would be free to come to your office at your convenience to look at the bids prior to Wednesday.
Your office, or?
Pardon?
Yeah, my office,
Your office.
conference room.
Not as often.
Well,
We
not
couldn't
his
come,
office.
we couldn't all come together to be a meeting.
Yeah, you just had a meeting.
No, we couldn't all fit in there anyway.
Yeah,
Huh?
It's whatever the commissioners
All right.
wish to do. Some of us work, some of us don't work.
No, well,
So
I just know what we're talking about is that the open door policy. If all of you say, let's be here at 4 o'clock in his office
we're
on
not.
Monday, you got a meeting, and that's why I said you're gonna have a special meeting.
We're not.
We're not doing that.
Okay.
All right, so,
And how are we gonna open bids? All right, we'll figure it out.
So do we gotta make a motion to open this up for bidding then, with all the dates we discussed?
Yes, bids are due on the 17th, and bill will open
Due on
on
the
that day.
17th.
I think the motion is to let
Mr.
Mike
Farmer.
Farr handle, and Jack Rand's office handle the preparation of the bid solicitation for
Correct.
bid notice.
For the 17th.
so I make that motion, but
Okay, we have a motion on that point from Mr. Abernathy. Is
and
there
it
a
will be for all five,
Yeah,
All five
for all five.
all five, okay.
Is there a second to Dave's motion?
And they bid.
Have a second
it's gonna
from
say
Greg. All in
they bid
favor, say
all
aye.
Or any portion of it you want.
Opposed, same sign.
wow, that's a big meeting.
Okay, next item. Storage maintenance facility at City Barn, Jesse Wolf quote with discussion. Now, it's my understanding that at a previous meeting, we have approved Jesse Wolf's quote to construct this new maintenance building at the city dump. The total of that quote is $142,700. You may have a document that's higher than that because that document contains a furnace. But an Elwood contractor has identified, according to Tim, a lower number on that furnace. Do you have that number?
I guess I'm used to Jesse Wolf quote.
It's right there. It's in that back.
What's the price on the furnace?
I have no idea. It's not on Jesse's quote we're looking at tonight.
Thanks. You got your.
So really, we're just moving forward with approving this quote or the
Okay.
payout on this, because we already
You've already
passed and
authorized
authorized
this.
this, we're just.
You've authorized Jesse Wolf to do the work.
Correct,
About $142,700.
yes.
And that would have it. So, I just want, since this is a public meeting, remind you to look at page 1 of this document that identifies the stages in which Jesse would like to be paid. First payment, or at the halfway point, $71,350. Second payment at another half payment, $35,675. Final payment, $35,675. That is due upon completion of the project.
How did we do this without getting bids?
We did, we had other bids for this.
Yeah.
We
We
had,
That
had,
was-
that's the one we had
Yeah.
the steel or several steel, Capital Steel, we had,
But they forgot to bring
Nichols,
Jesse's.
Nichols had it, we had,
Okay.
yeah, we had others, and
Jesse
then,
didn't turn his in, and I had the others, he had not given me anything, he gave Lisa something for the park
Correct.
barn,
Yeah.
but he had not given me anything at that point, it was requested, but he had not, when I was in the process.
I remember there was something like
I hate to ask, did we take bids or did we take estimates? And accept the
that.
estimates?
That's what I was getting at. Did we advertise for bids and give us a
Yes,
specs?
I I think we took quotes, didn't we?
Yeah, I knew it was open.
Christie, it
I
was,
just provided quotes.
yeah.
I provided quotes to you guys.
So I guess the question
Well, that
was,
doesn't answer my
have we
question.
done everything?
Did we
Have we done this in a
advertise?
kosher way?
What was your question?
Did we advertise for bids?
No, I'm not that involved in it.
I mean, that was before us, me, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think we did, David.
I mean,
If I compare this to what we just did, we did not advertise for bids on the city maintenance building.
Mike, would we not have to? At $142,000?
It's a major construction project. It's a biddable project. Now,
I would think we'd have to.
I wasn't here, and I know at various times that I have been here over the last 3 or 4 months, I've heard discussions going on of building a building out there and things going on, but I don't know how anybody arrived at $142,000 and awarded it this one. It's in the minutes. That's all I know. I wasn't here.
I wasn't either, so I don't know. I'm just asking the question because I just want to make sure.
In theory, a construction project of over $100,000 is gonna require bidding. Okay, there's a general rule of thumb, actually 50,000, but 100, you're pretty well safe, you're gonna have bidding.
So basically, I mean, at that point, then we have to just scratch this and start all over then, is what you're saying?
And blame Mike.
Well, let me see if I can find some exception. So what has happened is you studied this, you talked to several people,
We-
right?
well,
There
there were
other
several
people unofficially,
people-
I gave quotes.
There were several people that gave estimates from all over with Capital Steel with multiple different companies, local and,
I think we had a total of 5.
yes.
5 what?
Well, I was
I think the quote process is legal up to $300,000. When you reach the $300,000 threshold, that's when you have to receive competitive bids that are advertised. That's why we always advertise the community crossings, because we're over $1 million.
Right.
So I think the soliciting of 3 quotes has been sufficient all along. It's the advertisement when it gets over the $300,000 threshold.
I think that's right.
So we're safe.
For construction
For
only,
construction only, not public works.
not
but
public works.
construction.
Okay, that may be true, Your Honor, I forgot. I think that's right.
So what's the difference
Okay.
between public works and
So
construction?
public works would be like, streets,
Right.
Water, wastewater,
Sod.
just not a storage building for the maintenance department, so that qualifies as construction.
You're
Or the
right.
park building for another storage barn.
That's why I said, let me find it.
Soliciting
There's a
quotes
second.
is perfectly legal. You don't need to-
So Mayor, is your opinion that we are good to go tonight to authorize this project moving forward, given your comments?
100%.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, so we have a quote in front of us with 3 scheduled payments as requested by Mr. Wolf. Total cost $142,700. Is it the mood of the commission to proceed forward with this project?
Make a motion to proceed forward.
We have a motion by Greg, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Newton. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same
I
sign.
have one more question before we move on. Who's gonna oversee this construction?
I would hope it'd be Cody.
Elisa.
Yeah, I would put Lisa.
Lisa will be doing
the inspections like she does right now.
I mean, like, who's gonna go out and make sure that they're following the blueprints and like we've gotten into problems before? Because we've never had somebody, we haven't designated somebody, so it's been kinda up in the air.
This is under normal
Like the
building
park
permit.
restrooms.
What about Mr. DeLong?
I plan on being out there, that's for sure.
I'm gonna say between Lisa, with her responsibilities of any building, and then Mike and Cody being
Yeah.
right next door, it's
I think
covered.
his concern is just what happened with the bathrooms.
And-
Yeah, no, you're right.
And who?
But Mike, somebody needs to be in charge of the 3 of you.
Well, I think I should do Lisa too, because she's in that position.
That's fine.
But I would definitely be out there to
Okay, all right.
Well, I don't, now I'm gonna get picky here, but is it up to us to pick? I mean, they're the mayor's employees. Should you assign somebody to do it? I mean, we can't assign your employees to
Yeah,
do it.
we'll have our building commissioner and then, Michael from maintenance.
Okay,
Because it's gonna be his building, so we'll just make sure it's right.
okay, that's good.
All right, just FYI after the fact, Mr. Roby just responded, yes, we did bid out the maintenance project at the city dump. We got, how many bids we get? 5? So he said we did it, we did it. We're good.
Good anyway, but I thought you did, because I remember that.
Okay. Are we prepared to move on?
No,
So, yeah, no, there it is.
huh?
Did you say no?
I said I hope so.
Oh, okay. Me too. All right, next item. Armory purchase agreement. Is this laid out here, Bill, or is it any of these documents?
Yeah, it's the memorandum, it's the,
Say again?
it's the real estate purchase and
Yeah,
that's sale agreement, that's it.
Donation and transfer.
I got you. All right, so at this time, I'm gonna recognize the mayor.
So, guys, we've talked about the Armory acquisition, about 5 superintendents removed. The initial conversation that started the Armory acquisition was when the Indian Armory decided they were gonna build a new building on Highway 31. The superintendent at the time was Chris Daughtry. So we met with Chris, we talked to the Armory, and what they had said was they were just going to gift the city the building because they had no use for it. Indiana code statute said they could gift that to another government entity. At the time that we met with Chris Daughtry, the plan was to take the Armory and turn it into the new administration building, and then the administration building would have been something we could market because of the 3-phase that it had with the Danbridge machine trades. Since then, Mr. Daughtry's no longer there. Casey Smitherman was no longer there. And then when they came back to the table, when the Armory was officially to relocate to their new facility, we reached back out to the Armory to see if that initial plan of the gift was still in place. And they said since then, Indiana code had changed and they had to sell it at fair market value. What you have is a purchase price for $210,000 for the Armory building that I'm asking you guys to consider tonight. And in exchange for that purchase, we would donate it to the school, as they currently have alternative classes, and Heather Anderson, who is the acting superintendent, interim superintendent, is in the audience to talk about some of the plans that they have and the vision that they have. One of the things that we've ran into is property tax relief and SCA 1 has really hurt municipalities, but more importantly, it's hurt schools. What we've seen is municipalities have a way to somewhat recoup some of the property tax loss they have through local option income tax, which is going to come into play in 2029, where the current local income tax is going to 0, and then either the county has to adopt a rate or the municipality has to adopt a rate. This will help municipalities offset what they're losing in property tax revenue, but unfortunately, the school corporation and school funding does not allow school corporations to capture income tax. The only way that the school corporation can make up lost revenue in property taxes is dollars following the students by increased enrollment or doing school referendums. So, Ms. Anderson, I'll invite you to the microphone.
Could I ask you one question with that? With it being under the state's title now, it's not paying property taxes yet.
It's 0. Yeah, we've never gotten any property taxes from it at all.
Good evening, this is so high. Hi. Do you want me to speak freely, or would you like to ask questions? I know we come from Mayor Jones was not able to join us for our tour about a week and a half ago, so I just walked the building with the majority of you during that time. I thought that was a very successful tour. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have following that tour, but I also just wanted to express the school district's absolute undying interest in obtaining this space in this building and the possibilities that it presents to us as a school corporation and for the community at large with that space and what we can do with those spaces, expanding our current alternative school offerings, which are also already highly successful at the junior, senior high school level. Being able to expand those across the entire school district and all age groups is a fundamental plan for us at this time. And then also, you know, with the acquisition of that amount of space, we also have the ability to expand some different offerings within the school district as well. Some of those ideas, and I shared those with you while we were walking around that day, but some of those ideas include not only the potential for expanding Heinz Career Center programming, which is always a highlight of this community and something that serves the greater Madison County area for all of our surrounding schools that send students to us. And again, that's another way for us to build enrollment and bring students and bring families to this area. But then in addition to that, we also have needs right now for our special education students, and we are in the process right now of looking at expanding our special education, specifically life skills programming within Elwood schools, and being able to expand in certain areas, not necessarily, don't hold me to it, putting that program in the Armory space itself, but certainly moving things around and looking at this a little bit like a puzzle to make space so that we could do that within one of our existing buildings, if not the Armory itself. So lots of possibilities that we are very, very excited about, and we are looking forward to discussing more.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. First, has your board formally agreed that they want to do this so that we don't go by it and then you guys say no?
We have discussed this as a board, two members are here this evening. We have discussed this within the board multiple times. I met with our board president yesterday for a couple of hours as well. We discussed this project at length. The overwhelming sentiment, Ms. Ratliff was just turning around to me and talking to me a moment ago about how excited she is about this prospect, and I think we all are, and so yes, they're all on board.
Well, the superintendent, the last time he was here, we had asked to get estimates on utilities,
Yes.
mowing and that, so that if it all fell apart and we were left with it, we would have some idea going into it what our exposure would be.
Sure.
Do you know if you've gotten any of that?
I shared all of the utility, getting the utility information was a little bit of a tooth-pulling proposition, but I did in fact get all of those things. I did share them with Mr. Savage, so he has access to all of those. We were able to get the last 3 years of utility bills across the board. Sergeant Money was able to provide those, and then this morning he also sent me copies of bills, like specific bills. Some of the things were redacted, but you could still see a little bit more of the specifics. So yes, that was all shared with Mr. Savage.
We have not spent a huge amount of time, we don't have mowing costs, but we know that the costs are going, we're already paying $10,000 to rent space there for the alternative school. The utilities are about $22,000 per year. So, you know, so the benefit is much greater than the additional costs.
When I did my tour, since I was gone when you did yours,
Right.
I asked the janitor, or whoever, whatever you call it.
His name's Ed.
Yeah, because I was in the National Guard, and I attended some drills there. And I recall that we used to have vehicles repaired and maintenance done, and I was asking him if there was any provisions for oil that could have been stored underground or in the ground, or, I mean, I know how guys were back in those days.
Sure.
They didn't care where they threw the oil.
Yes.
So, do we know anything about the history of whether or not they had actually done motor pool work?
That question was asked during the tour as well. I can't remember who asked it, but it was asked during the tour as well. Yeah.
I think Ed said.
But it's not a phase one. You know, the caretaker basically said there were no problems. that he was aware of.
Ed stated, Dave, that if there was evidence of oil leakage, they would come in and they'd scoop up the gravel that had the oil immersed in it. They'd put it in a barrel and they'd haul it off.
Well, I was more concerned about changing oil, because I used to watch them do it in Anderson, and I wouldn't say that they were meeting some standards at that time, so just wanted to make sure, and I remember them doing it out there.
So Heather, I've read the appraisal report. It's short. If you can't sleep at night, this will put you to sleep real fast. There is minimal mention of asbestos. Can you elaborate as to your awareness of the presence of asbestos at all?
I'm not aware of any asbestos at this time, no. I don't know any further information on that. Questions were asked during the tour as well to Ed specifically about anything that he knew about that. The one thing that he did share that he was potentially concerned might come up as an issue was that there was an area off of the gymnasium area that there's an inset, and I guess they used to go in that space to shoot.
There may be lead contamination.
And there might be, there might be lead contamination in that space. That was all he knew about and shared with us.
I thought the floor tile was asbestos, had asbestos in it.
It is asbestos, floor tile was the material, and then when one popped up, it would treat it and remediate it with water, is what it said in.
Because I was asking him if he had any idea how old the tile was.
Probably
So we would have,
Yeah.
yeah, so we would have some idea as to how much of that start coming up.
Yeah.
With a bunch of kids out there. I don't know, I'm just, asbestos scares me, so.
Sure.
So tomorrow night, the board meets, at which time they will decide what their status is involving the building. They want it back. If we buy it, they want it back.
Is that on your agenda for tomorrow night?
To rephrase the question.
If tonight, this body approves giving it to you,
Yes.
what do you expect to happen tomorrow night? I think we'll go back to what the mayor said earlier this evening, a double closing at some point.
That the board would want to receive and accept the gift? Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just have to have that formalized.
So if the board could approve that formally tomorrow night, then we can give the approval, if you guys are interested this evening, contingent upon school corporation approval on Thursday night. And then we can start drafting the paperwork to do the purchase agreement, schedule the closing, the double closing, and we would move on our way.
So, just to recap, am I hearing correctly that you're not just using it for alternative center only? Or is that is that what you're starting with?
That would be what we're starting with, yes. I mean,
It's already being used for that.
Correct, I know
Right.
they were using the classroom.
right.
too.
School
I'm
starts
saying,
August
you know,
5th,
I
so,
guess
yeah.
my perspective looking at things is, if we're just gonna only do that with this entire area, other things like you mentioned, the Heinz Career Center,
Oh, absolutely.
vocational, there's so much room. I mean, we're limited on space as it is for those programs.
Oh,
That a
absolutely.
lot of students could,
Yeah.
utilize and, do well with.
Oh, 100%. The possibilities are endless. I've already had conversations with Mrs. Groover at Heinz Career Center about, we have years-long plans of different types of programming that we would like to expand within and be able to offer to not only just Elwood students, but then all of the 9 surrounding schools that send students to us as well. Being able to have this property and this amount of space to expand into opens a whole can of worms in terms of the different types of, for instance, a set of programming that we would love to expand and be able to, extend an offering for would be something around landscaping. Well, certainly a piece of property like this lends itself beautifully to being able to look into expanding a program like that with the property and everything else right there to be able to do those things both indoors and outdoors. So the possibilities are endless, yes. So certainly to start with, alternative school programming being in that building, yes, which we currently already have that we've been renting for portions of it anyway. That would be the hub to start this particular school year. But given the opportunities to look ahead in the years that are coming, every square foot of that building will be used and used well. So.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
There is a purchase agreement in effect we drafted a purchase agreement on behalf of the city and sent it to the state. The state reorganized it, but there were no substantial changes in it. And so what I would suggest is, if executing the purchase agreement is gonna be contingent on their agreement to buy it or to accept it, buy it for $1, whatever you're calling it. And to do that, you might wanna suggest that that purchase agreement be presented to their board tomorrow night, because those are the conditions under which it is being purchased. Eliminate, there are specific set forth times in terms of looking for asbestos and looking for environmental issues. There's a whole contract that has been prepared pursuant to which the city or ERC would purchase it. I'm simply suggesting that should be approved by, if we're gonna turn around and buy it and sell it to somebody, they should be upfront knowing what they're getting and simply agree to those terms. I saw a copy of it around here, I remember. When we did it. The purchase agreement provides for due diligence, which allows us, we can request, it says, if we can, I don't think they've done any phase 1 or phase 2, so it would be our cost if we wanted to do that, but we have time to satisfy ourselves.
Yeah, I think I saw it.
Now, in this, whole, if we were gifted to them, am I correct, is it still listed in there that if the school cannot maintain this or will not proceed, it comes back to the ERC then?
So
Is that
that
correct?
was part of the donation agreement that was
Yeah.
sent to you.
That
guys.
could be done
Also
that way.
to the school. Michael had,
Well,
Jeff had looked at that and it was maintained for 15 years. And also in that request, and that number was just a number thrown out, so it could be 10, it could be 5, whatever you guys are comfortable with. The other request on that was that there would be no TIF request from the school corporation to the ERC this year for 1 year. So that would be their TIF request going forward. So last year, they requested, the school requested for learning labs, and they can request legally by Indiana code up to 15% of the TIF draw. That number was $350,000. The school only requested $300 for the learning labs. So if we donate the building at $210, the ERC is actually $90,000 ahead of what a potential TIF request can be.
Now, how is the school sitting with that? I mean, obviously the board would have to discuss that because those are also funds that they can draw on. I mean, clearly they drew on some funds last year, but they had to make a lot of budget cuts.
But for legal purposes, TIF can only be used for certain things, so they can't use that for
For-
salaries.
okay.
It can be for like learning labs, it can be for buildings, conference rooms. We put a welding lab in, they redid the libraries for learning labs, but you can't use that for operational expenses. It has to be, it's all written out in the code.
Okay, I got a question on your agreement. It says that we can take it back, or that we have to take it back?
That we could within the
Okay,
15 years.
because I don't wanna take it, I don't wanna obligate a future council to take it back if it's
We
deteriorated.
can omit that if you don't want it in there, that's fine. There's probably about 5 things that building can be used for, just the way it's set up. Schools, maybe a family resource center, a church, things like that. It's not gonna be manufacturing, it's not gonna be industrial, anything like that because of where it's set in a residential area.
And then based on our discussion today, because I asked about the fact we don't have 2 appraisals, you said by July 1st, we don't have to.
That's correct.
But if we consummate this ahead of time, of July 1st,
And Jeff said it would have been with the responsibility of the armory to get those appraisals, not the responsibility of the city. But July 1st is,
We're buying, not selling.
correct. Yeah, we're the purchaser.
yeah,
Yeah, so when you're buying something, you have to have the 2 appraisals.
right.
Okay, or excuse me, when you're selling something, you have to have 2 appraisals. And Jeff said that we're okay, that it would have been on the armory to get.
Based on July 1st?
And July 1st, it's only going to 1.
I know, but we're gonna do this before July 1st.
Yes, but we don't have to get 2 appraisals.
We had to get 2 appraisals on Valentine's,
We bought it.
and we're not buying this.
Intergovernment can, I think, do transfers amongst each other.
It's because they're public entities.
Huh?
Public entities have different rules. We've dealt with this when we.
Well, okay, as long as, you're telling me the state's considered the public entity and we could transfer property?
The National Guard?
Well, it's a state.
Yes, so it's a government.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we ran into that, maybe you're on the board when we gave the rock garden to the city.
I don't know.
But you raise good concerns, you know, we need to talk about, do we get a phase one? If there is none available, we have funds, I believe that could come out of our bond funds.
Bill, or
I think
Bob,
so.
I think you guys really do need to do a phase one, and you will too. Under the brownfield program, it gives you protection in the event that there is anything.
I don't know.
And just basically show that you did your due
I
diligence.
think so.
So, but that could be flipped, and they do one time through for both, and give you both individual reports you have to pay for.
So we could lock in the purchase, subject to the contingencies.
Right.
Because we sign the agreement, if we find a problem, we cancel the agreement.
Well, I know, if we've got asbestos somewhere in the tiles, what's to say it's not somewhere else? And why would we not have an expert who does the phase one come in and who will go everywhere and look for it
Yeah.
to tell us that it's not there?
Yeah, because tile's probably the least risky. But there's other
I
potential
don't know,
areas.
as old as this tile is, it could be.
Please.
So Rob, did you just say that you would recommend the owner of the building now?
No, the purchaser or the owners need to do their own protection through having those phase one.
Absolutely.
It sounds like the purchase agreement,
It
the
provides for it.
state provides you a window to do that.
Okay.
So you're on the right process. If they vote to accept the donation of the building tomorrow, then you guys can both order the phase ones and start going through the checklist of due diligence immediately. And again, your point is right. The phase one will trigger a phase two automatically.
Right.
And they'll assess those things to think what has to be done. But that wouldn't impede the sale. But if it does look like a big number before we close the state, you may be able to go back and renegotiate. So you're on the right
Well, and
track.
I'm concerned about liability because I made commercial loans for 50 years. And I saw people who sold property get drugged back in for oil and set stuff.
Sure.
Even though they sold it and, because they didn't disclose it, even if they knew about it or not, so. And we know about it, so.
All right, I have a question. With the school board, are they, a lot of the questions I got from some people were, obviously you guys just had to make some cuts. So financially, with Senate Bill 1 and then what you guys just had to do, are you able to do this? That was some of the complaints I heard is, well, they just fired teachers and now they're gonna put, money into a building. And obviously, we see the benefit.
Sure.
But that was some of the questions I had.
So I think it's important to understand, it's a valid question and it's a valid concern. The cuts that were made at the end of the school year were required for us, survival-wise. Our operations budget has and will continue to take a monumental hit, that is correct. It's important to understand that the expansion into this building is not going to cause any new hires. There will be no new influx of employees coming into the school to work these positions. It is a reorganization entirely. So there will be no new positions created. There won't be any new hires. There won't be any extra expenditures. The only expenditures we would be looking at are for the maintenance of the actual building and utilities for the building itself. Mhm.
So if you run a successful referendum, what fund will that benefit? Operations or
That is an operating
education?
referendum, yes, sir.
Dave, if you look at this agreement, okay, I think you guys have a copy of it. All the pages are numbered 14.
I noticed that.
When I did the original agreement, they weren't. That was one of the
I
changes
just
they
thought
made. For some
I
reason, I
you
don't
wrote it,
know.
and so you copied it wrong or something.
But look at Article 2, which talks about inspections, and then go over to the contingencies, which is in Article 4. And you're really obligated to do at least a phase 1. It will, as he indicates, do a phase 2. And if that tells you there's something there, you simply don't go to closing. So what you've invested in is study to determine what it is you're buying. That's why I'm saying they need to see this agreement, because if they think tonight you approve this contract is you will buy it under certain conditions. You don't even know about those conditions yet. That was the point I was making, that I think they should be aware that tonight you cannot make a commitment to donate this building. You don't own it, you don't know yet even if you will. That's what the contract's about, okay? So you don't wind up buying, buried bullets in the backyard or whatever they did there. Okay, so, but that's in the
Basically just saying,
contract.
we're in favor if everything works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd say that, yeah.
Well, then,
And I'm
can
not
we just
aware of the terms of
table the discussion
negotiation
until
or
they have their meeting
donation, I didn't see it.
and determine, once we hear from them on what they wanna do, or if this is something they wanna do, then we can just move forward with it all.
What happens
Well, in the
tomorrow?
meantime,
We're only gonna
what's-
walk through
what's
this
the next
process